What's up guys, going to show you in the video. Today's video is why if Eva won Total Drama Island. Now Eva's one of my favourite characters in the series. I'll explain how I think Eva could actually win Total Drama Island. Let's begin. So the Eva we'll be using is the Eva that was in the end of the series, as that Eva was able to the World Tour series, as that Eva was able to control her temper a lot better. Plus, Eva also would have been more expressive, likely would have been easier to make friends as well. As a result, episode 3, the Bass would still lose, but Eva would now get voted off here because I'm going to say Heather doesn't lose an MP3 player in this timeline, so she never drops it. That's no way I'm going to say Eva can win. So, the thing is, Eva and Duncan won the challenge, so who would win? Because Harold was in the bottom 2 originally, and DJ and Jeff, Duncan's messing with Harold in this episode, I think Harold gets voted off here, which means Harold is eliminated in episode 3. Episode 4 is dodgeball, and Eva would absolutely dominate the game, kill Screaming Gophers, and she would be able to dodge pretty fastly, and because of this, Noah would still get sent home. Episode 5 will actually be different because Harold's not here. So the scores: Heather, Trent, Justin, then it's Courtney, Jeff, Bridget throws up everyone, but without Harold being here, with his beatboxing, kill Basileus, everyone votes for Bridget because she puked on them, and Bridget would have gone home, rightfully so, after she threw up on everybody. As a result, Eva's friends with Tyler, so they're a bit of a friendship rivalry, so these two vote for Bridget. Courtney gets mad, so she wants to vote for Bridget, but Jeff won't vote for Bridget, but everybody else votes for Bridget after she throws up on them. Episode 6 is where we have the sucky outdoors. Katie and Sadie will still get lost. The camp won't be messed up. Duncan will still tell his horror story. Eva will bond with DJ and Tyler, and because of this, Katie will still get sent home. Episode 7 is Phobia Factor. Here we actually have a bit of a difference factor. This is the Fierce Challenge. So Glenn gets a point for her minds, Trent gets a point for being ready to live on the ground. Heather gets a point for wrestling, Beth gets a point for her peers, Cody fails the time bomb, Shauna fails the spiders, Izzy and Ellen get a point for flying, Lindsay gets a point for bad haircuts, and Sadie and Duncan gets a point for hugging the cardboard. DJ gets a point for hugging the snake. Eva's hero would be worms, so she would get a point. I'm thinking Eva could just talk or threaten Tyler to do his fear, the chickens. So my boy in this timeline will actually do his fear. Jeff has right now, and Courtney feels her fear of the jelly. And because of this, Eva convinces Jeff and DJ and Tyler. Courtney calls us the challenge. Let's get Sadie on board. They go for Courtney, as Courtney rightfully should have gone in this episode, as she calls them the challenge, even though Tyler went instead for some reason. Episode 8 is up the creek, and this is where they have to go in pairs. So Heather will still get Beth and Lindsay and Trent, which means that Glenn and Cody, Izzy and Owen, Izzy and Lashana, which leaves Lindsay, Heather, and Justin and Owen. Here's where Heather's going to realize to try and get rid of Justin at this point. Harold wouldn't accidentally burn the oars, but Izzy would still get the idea. Instead of DJ pushing her team, it would be Eva, so the Kilobass would still win the challenge. And like normal, Izzy would be chased by the CRMP, so she gets voted the CRM and she gets eliminated. Episode 9 is Paintball D Hunter, and this will not change, as Beth will still rebel, and Cody will still get mauled by a bear, meaning he will get removed from the game. So Eva becomes the hunter, the deer, the hunter, Tyler, and Cody still gets mauled by a bear, so he gets removed from the game. Episode 10 is the cooking challenge, and here we have a bit of a difference. Heather will still be locked in the freezer, but Eva will not take her head chef, so it will be Jeff. This means that DJ and Eva will cook together, with Tyler and Sadie being left on their own, while Jeff and Duncan team up to do the cooking challenge. Owen would still eat the ribs. Because of that, Beth would still reveal the Tiki statue, and she gets blown off still. Episode 11 is where we have Trust. Okay, so rock climbing, it would be DJ and Eva. Eva and Tyler. Then Heather and Gwen. Heather still pulls down Gwen's pants, but it wouldn't distract Eva in the same way as it did DJ. So I think Eva and Tyler get the point. The second part would be the blowfish, so Trent and Lindsay, Jeff and DJ. I think Jeff and DJ at the point, Trent still has the infirmary. The next part would be trying blind trapeze. It would be Lashana, Lindsay and Justin, and Eva, Tyler, and Sadie. I think Justin will get something from her here as Lindsay will tell Justin to jump too early. Jeff won't lose DJ's bike this time because Bridget's not here, so it won't be taken by a shark. Taken by eagle and then eaten by a shark. So it will be Sadie and Duncan. Then Lashana and Owen, they still at the point as the final part is the anti-blocking, so it will be Gwen and Lashana and DJ and Jeff. Because the Bass already originally win the challenge and DJ doesn't have to go to West Mass now, this means the Kill Bass would actually win in this timeline. So the Gophers are going to elimination. Thing is, I don't think Heather can save herself at this point. I think she can convince Trent. She tries to get Justin. I think she will work with Justin. This is what Heather decides to do. The Justin play here. She might be able to convince Owen with food, but the other four are definitely going with Heather, so Heather is actually out here. So Heather's eliminated. Episode 12 is basics training. Start making some moves as you will try to get Lindsay in an alliance and Owen. So the first part would be her head. Lindsay would tag out. The dancing, Justin tags out. Sadie. Then reward essay would be Trent and DJ. The episode course, everyone qualifies here. So Duncan, we know Duncan falls with Sean, Owen, Jeff. Between Tyler and Eva, it doesn't really matter who wins, but I probably think Tyler because of the momentum. He could handle this very well. But Eva would do close second, so this means the Gophers would end up losing the challenge as a result. So Justin gets Lindsay and Owen, so these three vote for Justin. The other three would vote for Trent, so this would be a Trent-Justin tie. Actually, would they think Trent's more of a threat? Justin has those looks at this point, and I think Owen can be convinced very easily by Justin with food or his looks. But and beyond that, I don't think Justin's going to be able to get anyone else. He may be able to get Lashana to vote for Trent. And Lashana's closer to Gwen, so she'd be happy to vote for Trent, as obviously she wouldn't want to have a couple in the finale. So these four vote for Trent, while the other two vote for Justin, which means Trent is eliminated. Episode 13 in Torture. So the DJ jumps out of the plane, and it would now be Justin. DJ gets the point. The second part would be returning Shauna and Jeff. Shauna, and then the skiing would be Lindsay. Now, because there's no Heather's top one doesn't come off, I think Eva could win it, so the Bass win the challenge. And Justin has Lindsay and Owen, so he would vote for Lashana as he's the bigger threat. And the other two try to vote for Justin, but Lashana gets voted off. Episode Girls versus Boys. This is the eating challenge. So bye Gophers. Pass Gophers. The guys win it, but Eva decides to make an all girls alliance as they're being outnumbered, similar to how Duncan does in the original story. So 14's out. Merge. Our merge is a bit of a different cast, but we need to bring two people back. So we know that Izzy comes back and Heather comes back. So in the challenge, Tyler or Eva, it's very close. I think Eva wins immunity, just so all bases are covered, and this is what if Eva won. So Eva wins immunity, and everyone gangs up on Heather because she's the biggest threat. Nobody likes her. Get her out while we can. Episode 16 is how to be sneaky, so Sadie, Eva, Justin, and Tyler were not originally here, so I had to spin a wheel to decide who would get Heather's random immunity pass to determine who would have gotten her immunity in this episode. So, who gets the key? It is my boy Tyler. So Tyler gets immunity, and Eva has the Girls' Alliance. She can have Izzy. And they have Tyler's vote because Eva's close to Tyler. So who do the girls get rid of? Justin, Owen, Duncan, Jeff, or DJ? Eva decides that we need to target Justin as he's a pretty big threat. I think they can work with Justin, so I think like out of these four, I think they target Owen as he's a very likable guy and is a pretty big threat overall and could be quite threatening if they go forward. So these 6 vote for Owen, these Justin gets his 2. These 5 vote for Izzy, Owen's out. This confuses the guys as someone must have flipped on the team, not knowing it was actually Tyler. Episode 17 is where we have Hide and Be Sneaky. She still has the Girls' Alliance and she wants to keep Tyler around. So Eva would have the best hiding spot on the roof, hiding spot, and Tyler would end up calling out DJ after accidentally seeing him running past. This means that the guys will stick together and actually Duncan will get Jeff, DJ, and Justin to vote for Lindsay. Eva not really having this because there's a couple that you need to target someone. They either get rid of Lindsay or someone else, so these guys go together and target Justin, which means that Justin gets voted off. Episode 18 is where we have 2 challenges very flawed by nature. Episode 18 is where we have that's off the chains. This is the bike race. So Izzy goes off the entire episode by herself, so she's out. So Jeff gets the bolt, Gwen and DJ wipe out. We know that, so we'll qualify for the second round. Lindsay could definitely make it to the end because she was really tricked by Heather, but now Heather's not here. I think Lindsay could make it to the end. Duncan wipes out, so we just need to figure out between Sadie and Tyler who'd actually make it. And between out of the two, I think Tyler could make it first, considering the fact Tyler, who, even though he's failed athlete, Tyler's pretty good. I think Tyler could get across for Sadie. And due to the unfair ruling, because of how flawed the challenge is, Sadie gets automatically eliminated. Episode 8 and 19 will not change, DJ will still get sent home. Episode 20 is where we have Wakanda Gone Wild, and here they realize there's a couple in the game, so Eva's going to realize Izzy could be worth keeping around, or whichever one they get rid of Izzy or Tyler. So this is where they have to hunt for the animals. And Gwen would win the challenge, even though the meal is the prize. There's no immunity. So Eva goes to Duncan and Jeff and says we need to get rid of Lindsay, as obviously these 4 go for Tyler. But the guys decide they need to stick together and they need to vote for Lindsay. Duncan, Tyler. It's between Tyler and Lindsay. Eva gets Gwen to vote for Lindsay. The 5 of them vote for Lindsay. These 2 are total for Duncan, which means Lindsay gets sent home. Episode 21 is where we have Wakanda Gone Wild. So Duncan will be Gwen and Jeff. Duncan and Izzy. And that will leave Eva and Tyler. So the first part of the challenge would be Full Speed Madonna. Gwen wins that challenge. The second part's related to actually Gwen and Jeff win that challenge. The third part would be shorter, I think, Eva and Tyler. So Duncan and Izzy. So now we have a problem because who's the biggest threat? Duncan, they think, is popularity contest, but Jeff is immune. Or Izzy that we need to get rid of Duncan because he's the biggest threat. So he's 0 for Duncan. Jeff's with Duncan. Gwen votes for Duncan, which means Duncan is sent home. Episode 22 is Castaways, and don't call Jeff. If you want to keep Jeff and don't say his name. I think Jeff gets unfairly booted off here. I think Jeff's the most popular candidate. I don't think Gwen, Tyler, or Izzy are the most popular people. Episode 23 is where we have Mr. Coconut. Other than that, no elimination. Episode 24 is where we have Tribe Triathlon, so it wouldn't be a just race against with Eva and Tyler and Gwen and Izzy. So who would end up winning out of the two? I think here, the person who would probably win it at getting out the woods the fastest in the race at the end, I think Eva and Tyler would win it before Izzy and Gwen. Normally I think Izzy because she's very good, but I think these guys would end up losing the challenge. Izzy gets word off as even though Chef has a respect for Gwen in this timeline, he has a bigger rival with Izzy. Episode 25 is where we have by Triple Doctor. You know, the dares are in an element. I have no idea what dares they would have had here. But going off from what we know, I can safely say that Eva could make it to the end. She ended up playing very well, and Tyler has momentum. I think Gwen would just give up here, as obviously she's not teaming up with anyone, and Gwen did drink out of the toilet, but I think out of the three, Gwen's the least durable, so I think third place, Gwen. Episode 26 is where we have the finale. So Gwen's with Eva, Izzy's with Eva, Jack's with... Sorry, I probably think it goes with Tyler, Duncan, Eva, Lindsay, Tyler, TJ, Tyler, Sadie. Tough to say, I'm probably going to say Tyler. Justin, Tyler, Owen, Tyler, Heather, Tyler, Shauna, Eva, Trent, Tyler, Beth, Tyler, Cody, Tyler, Courtney, Eva, Katie, Tyler, Bridget, Eva, Noah, Eva, Harold, Tyler, and Ezekiel, Tyler. So, the first part, the race to the end. Get to the top, it's very, very close. They each get winning endings, but in this, it's Eva's video, so Eva wins Total Drama Island. The next character I will be doing is Justin. Thank you guys for watching. This is the animation I think this would have gone if Eva won Total Drama Island. Yeah, peace for all.